Hey everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are on episode 27, part 3 of the F's.
The final part of the F's.
Yes.
Then we get to the best letter of them all.
K's not next.
G is next. Are you kidding me? Where did you learn your alphabet?
That's what I'm saying. K's not next. What are you saying? Anyway, but before we get started, please give us a like, subscribe, and of course, follow us on all of our social medias. You ready to just dive into this one?
Yep. We got some new games, old games, good games, great games, not so great games, and some we just flat out didn't really like. But we'll leave that
pretty normal.
Okay, first we're going to start off with a series of games. And we're going to start off first with Forbidden Island.
See, he missed my lead-in of let's dive right into this, but okay, whatever. All right, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
This was our second co-op.
This is the second co-op we ever invested in.
Was our first one.
Yes, Pandemic, and then this one, and to our surprise, it played very, very similar to Pandemic.
Yep.
Take 4 turns, draw a card, draw the bad cards. So it was an easily recognizable mechanics, which made it a lot easier to get into. So Forbidden Island, this one's been around for quite a while. My only complaint on this one is the tin. I wish they'd put it out in just a normal box, but you know, whatever. But just like the very familiar Pandemic, what do they call it now? The Pandemic
system.
Thank you. I could not come up with that word.
It's a very hard word.
Well, I kept wanting to say Pandemic Legacy, and I'm like, that's not the word I'm looking for. Anyway, so you start off with a grid of tiles, and I actually found this other layout tile, which I thought was pretty cool. We've done some of these. In fact, I think we did Volcano Island, which is everything in a square and just this hole in the middle, and we lost. Sorry. The volcano.
Why are you apologizing to me?
I don't know. But anyway, so you lay out all your location tiles out on the table in whatever pattern you choose. And as cards are drawn, not those cards, as cards are drawn, at the end of every person's turn, certain tiles flood and are flipped over to the black and white side or the blue and white side. And if you can't manage to shore them up before the next time that card is pulled, there's only one of each card in the deck, thank goodness. But unfortunately, the storm cards are plentiful.
So it like you said, it's Pandemic.
It's the Pandemic
on the island because you have play your actions.
Yep, you do your actions.
Draw your set collecting cards.
Yep.
To be able to find the relics, and then you draw a bad card that something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And you do that, wash, rinse, and repeat. Is that what they say?
Yep, that is what they say.
Until you either lose or you win.
Great game. We actually I found a second copy of this at a yard sale for like $5. So we actually have this in both collections. And we do enjoy it. It's a nice light intro cooperative game that I feel I can pull out with new gamers.
Yeah. And this one I think is easier to understand with, like you said, new gamers if they've never played a game. And it's easy to introduce them into the co-op world.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, this one will stay in both collections.
Next is Forbidden Desert. This is Forbidden Island with sand.
And a little bit
instead of the island sinking, the island's getting covered in dust storms.
Yeah, the desert is getting covered in sandstorms. So this one, the difference here is, and this is where there's a twist on this one.
The helicopter you escaped the island with has crashed into the desert. Now you've got to find pieces to build a new flying machine.
You've got your little flying machine, and all the pieces just go in here nice and neat somehow. I think it goes that way. So, but you build this as you're finding your pieces. And then, and then you've got your little propeller on the back. Yay, just like that. So how this works is, again, you've got your grid of tiles. And these ones, you start off with all the tiles desert side up. And as you're exploring them, you're flipping them over to see what's in there, and then you're interacting with them based on the symbols that are on here. So there are some that give you gear cards, and there are some that give you shelter, and then there's ones that lead you in the direction of the pieces you're looking for. But there's 2 of each one of these cards, one pointing east and west and one pointing north and south. And once you find both of them, you have to basically find the piece that intersects. And that's where, the piece you're looking for is on that intersecting piece. So there is no one certain place. There's nothing to collect here, because you're not trying to find sets of stuff in order to find your pieces. You're finding 2 tiles.
Right.
And then looking for the intersecting piece.
Yeah, so this one, there's no set collecting cards.
There's no set collecting cards.
But they add sand.
They add sand to this one. So that's where it differs. As the storm picks up, every round, let me rephrase that. Every round, you are drawing cards such as this. And this tells you what direction the wind is moving and what direction you're placing sand on pieces. So if I pull this card, then the row that has, and actually, this would be the row that has the extra hole in it would move. One piece would move. And that piece that moves gets a sand tile on it. If I pull this one, then the column, I'm sorry, that was column. This is row. The row that the extra hole is in moves, 2 pieces move toward the hole. And those 2 pieces get sand on them. So eventually you are building up a lot of sand on some of these pieces. One of your actions is to remove sand, but it builds up quick.
And then after all that, you draw your bad card.
You draw your bad card. And that tells you, that's just it. This is the bad card. These are the bad cards. But in there is the sun beats down and the storm picks up cards. And those are the cards you're actually regretting.
Yeah, the sun beats down is a different mechanic in this because your health is water.
Yeah.
If you run out of water, you're dead.
Yep. And there are 2 tiles on here which give you water.
And there's canteens in the gear to be able to fill up.
Yeah. So all sorts of neat things. I really like this one. If I had my choice, this is my favorite of the set. Oh, actually, he just does fit right down in there, doesn't he? I'll just leave them put together. But anyway, that is Forbidden Desert. The second part of the series. I'll put those 2 right there.
So now this is where it all changes. You built your flying contraption there, and you've landed on a cloud dock. You're in the clouds.
It's something
it's not in space. You're up in the clouds. You're up in the sky.
Yeah.
You've landed on this, and now you basically got to put together a rocket. Well, actually, the rocket's already built. You've got to get electricity to the rocket so you can blast off.
Yes.
So this is Forbidden Sky.
This one,
as you notice, is in a box.
Yeah, this one they actually put a box on it. And we'll do this.
This one was highly anticipated when it came out.
It was, and I was really looking forward to this when it came out. But you've got the same grid in terms of tracking your health. But in this one, you're actually tracking 2 separate pieces of information. You're tracking your health points, but you're also tracking your rope. Because in here, there are cards that will literally, there's cards that change things. There's cards, high winds. High winds will push you off of a platform into open sky. That's where your rope comes in. If you still have rope left, then you just lose a notch on your rope. Then there's lightning strikes. Lightning strikes goes straight to your health.
Lightning strike bad.
Lightning strikes are bad. Storm intensifies. Well, that's when this goes up a notch, and that just determines how many cards you're pulling. This mechanic is the same in all 3 of the games. So, okay, so this one, same thing. Similar. Instead of starting with your full grid of tiles, you're starting with this. And this piece tells you what direction the wind is going, so that you know if that wind picks up, which direction the wind is pushing you, because you don't want to be on one of the edge pieces near cloud if that happens. At the same time, you see all these orange lines, these gold lines? Well, they start intersecting. as you start putting pieces together. Oh, hey, I did that without even looking. Ha. But as you're doing this, you see these symbols? These are lightning rods. If you're on a tile with any of these gold bands that are attached to a lightning rod, guess what? You get hit by lightning when lightning strikes.
This is a tough one. We have played this a few times and we have not won it yet.
Yeah. See, the whole premise is the rocket is sitting on this guy.
Yeah.
And you are trying, let's see if we can actually make it work. Hold on. I'm going to see if we can make this work. I'm just going to push that this way.
Geez.
I don't know if we can. We've only ever gotten it to work once. So, but you have to make connections with... Not working. I don't hear. I wonder if the batteries are dead.
I think it's going to be on both sides. Watch out.
Oh, that's possible. No. I don't know.
That was the problem with it. We could never hardly get
I think I've only ever gotten it to work once, and that just annoys me alone. Yeah. See, it should. Oh, wait a minute. No.
Is it turned on? Is the batteries in it?
The batteries are in it. I don't know. Anyway,
Maybe the battery's dead.
the battery might be dead, but which is sad because it's only ever gone off once. Oh well. This guy's hitting the sale pile.
Yeah.
We've tried it multiple times and we just don't enjoy it. We moved it into the travel collection a while back and we still just... I don't want to have to teach this, nor do I want to have to keep track of those batteries. And it's not fun because I don't think last time we
had
I think
3 rounds.
I ran out of rope or help.
No,
one of the
you got
two.
3 actions. I think I got 2 actions. You got 3 only because you went first and we were both electrocuted to death.
So
it did not own up to the hype that it was when it was coming out because these 2 were such a success. So everybody was anticipating this coming. I mean, they were taking pre-orders at Gen Con that year.
That's how we got it.
Because it sold out so quick.
Yeah.
So we pre-ordered it and
I get that cooperative games are not supposed to be easy.
No.
I do get that. We've got a lot of really hard ones.
It's
This
really
one's
fiddly because when you're trying to put out those cables too,
Yeah.
sometimes you're knocking one off. So you got to reset that one in there and get these just right on the card where you're laying them at. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't, unfortunately. So this guy's hitting the sale pile. But anyway, that is the Forbidden series. Great, better, good, better. Done.
We'll leave that up to you.
Yeah.
Some people may like it.
And I'm sure some people do, but
Just
most
we
people
don't.
I've heard don't.
Yeah,
So.
we don't like it for sure.
Anyway, that is it.
All right. So next we are going to become artists in Fresco. This is, I don't remember what they said they're painting.
They're painting a ceiling.
Well,
It's a ceiling in a chapel.
Yes, I understood that we're painting the ceiling. Is it the Sistine Chapel?
I don't know.
Or is it just the chapel, the ceiling of
one of the
building?
chapels?
don't
I think it's just
it says
supposed to
on
be.
here,
I don't
so-
think it says. But it was fascinating because we've been to the Sistine Chapel, so it definitely was
It's
fascinating
just
when
the
I
ceiling
first
of
saw
the
it.
cathedral.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it takes place in Italy, France, where, but
I don't know. But anyway, this guy, you are basically uncovering, and I don't know if you can see this back here, but
pictures.
the building or the board starts out with the entire, it's a 5x5 grid covered with pieces of painting. Basically, they're covered with tiles.
Yeah, each tile has a number of points you'll get if you pick up the tile, and then colors of paint that you're going to need to paint that part of the paint.
Right. This one plays in stages. You start off by bidding for what time you're waking up. Well, actually, you don't bid. Whoever is furthest behind in the round.
Right. Yeah. You just put where you want to go.
What time he's waking up, and waking up early has certain benefits. Waking up late has benefits.
Waking up early though, you end up paying for more.
Yes.
Paying more for your paints.
Correct.
And you lose happiness.
You do, because your assistants are not happy they had to get up so early.
Mm-hmm. You wake up late, you pay less.
You pay less.
Because there's less there, and
Yeah.
you get happy people because
They got to sleep in.
people that get to sleep in are happier.
However, the things you wanted to do may be gone already. So, but you are choosing your wake up time, and then you are going to the market and picking up paint. Then you are painting. You're spending your part of your day painting on the chapel ceiling. You go to sell portraits where you can get some extra money, or down here it's just shown as money, but there's an expansion that lets you sell portraits and get special favors. But you do that, and then you go and you can mix your paints to get better colors
for your next painting.
And then you can send some of your workers to the theater to make them happy again, because you don't want to lose workers just because they're unhappy with you.
This is a really fun, and it's actually strategic.
It is very strategic.
But my one downside of this whole game
is
because I was constantly doing it through the entire game. I would set my round up for what paints I'm going to have after I mix, forgetting that the second action is painting that ceiling. You don't get those mixed paints till the end of the round, and then you have them for the next round. And I always would set up like, yes, I can do that. So if I do this and this, okay, so I'm going to get those paints. I'll be able to mix those up so I can paint up there twice. Nope. I don't get those paints mixed right until the next round.
That's not a game problem. That's a you problem. Because I never.
I know I'm not the only one that's played this game and has ever done that.
Anyway, that's Fresco. It is going to stay in the collection.
Next, we're going to go. Well, for some of us who were into sports when we were kids, we remember the old paper football. Well,
I remember the paper football, but
because you're old. But this takes paper football and kind of adds to it. It gives you a field to play on. It gives you actual field goals where you don't have to do this number anymore.
See, look at this field, guys.
You're playing AFC versus NFC, so it's kind of like the Super Bowl, or it could be the Pro Bowl.
Look at how big this field is.
Keep it right there as we explain the game.
All right, so again, this is paper football.
So there's two different variants, and none of the variants are really like what I remember the game being.
No.
One is that you're flipping the football down and you got 3 turns to either get in the end zone or get in range to kick a field goal. And then in that too, if you kick a field goal, it's 3 points, but then it says you could go for an extra point.
Here, you want to show your skill?
In regular, no, not on here. It'll go all the way over there. Anyway, in regular football, if you kick a field goal for 3 points, you don't get a shot at an extra point. In this one, apparently you do. Or you can play it a different way. Plus, there's a timer, a 5-minute timer for every quarter.
Yep.
But there's another one where where you're going to spin this spinner, and it's going to tell you at the beginning when you kick off how many yards you're going to get off the kickoff. So you're not really playing with these at all until you have to until you have to kick a field goal. And then you're going to spin this spinner and say I was on 24. I would look on my sheet now, and I would look at play 24. Comes with a play card. And it tells me interception, no gain on kickoff or kickoff, no gain on kickoff return.
We each had our own play cards. We had different plays, which was kind of cool.
Yep. So, needless to say, I had in the game we played this way, I had 3 pickoffs, 2 fumbles.
I think I got one through the goalpost.
You actually kicked a field goal, but I think you scored twice. I mean, there was plays. I had a 65-yard play. I was down on the 3-yard line. My next spin, it plays. It's a fumble. She recovers, and now she takes it right back down to film score.
I did.
It just doesn't seem fair that she beat me at this, and she didn't even really know the rules to football.
Nope, I sure don't. That being said,
it's just sad.
It's a spinner.
It's kind of like the day the music died.
It's a spinner.
It's a spinner. I mean, I get the spinner.
Okay. I'm glad you do, because I don't. But
it's the one game I don't mind the spinner in, because if you play that version, it's going to tell you what play you're playing.
Okay. It's going on the sale pile. So it was too, there was no strategy to it.
No, it's
Spinning,
all luck.
how well you spin,
Yeah,
and
it's all
how
luck.
well you can flip the silly football.
Mm-hmm. And apparently she can flip them better than I can.
I never played paper football in high school. Anyway, Fiki Football's hitting the sale pile. If you're interested, let us know.
Keeping with the sports thing, we also played Full Count Baseball, the ultimate baseball board. Yeah.
I was wondering how long it would take you to see that. I saw it the minute you turned it. No, I didn't. I just happened to see it when it turned
Anyway,
around.
Full Court Baseball, the ultimate baseball board game. This one was actually rather interesting.
I actually like this one.
Yes,
there was actually, I mean, yes, it was a lot of luck involved still, but there was some. There was a
lot of strategy and there's not a lot of luck.
Maybe you saw the strategy because you know baseball.
Well,
to me, it was like, which card do I want to play?
Yeah, because a batter has his own cards and a pitcher has their own cards, and each team has batter cards and pitcher cards depending on who's up, and you only have 3 outs. There's no strikes. It's basically every time a batter comes up, it's a full count. So the next pitch, no matter what it is going to be something. Mm-hmm. So the pitcher's going to put down a card face down, the batter's going to put card face down, and then you flip them over, and each card, the pitcher will say, "This is the pitch I have," and the batter card is going to say, "This is the batter that I have." And you're going to look on your card, say, "I did a fast pitch." She puts up her rookie. I would look under the rookie and see what the outcome was. And her cards did the same thing. She would look under the fast pitch.
Yeah, they all coincided really nicely. It was really neat.
And that would tell you what would happen. So, and then you take that card and you stick it off to the side. It's done. It's done for the inning. You can't reuse it until your batting order comes back around.
Yeah.
So all I did was I just sat there and watched what cards went down. I could see it's like, okay, well, she doesn't have that card up anymore. So this is on this card, that player could hit a home run. This is the best time to use this card now because she can't do it. You didn't catch on to that?
I was winning for the first 6 innings.
Mm-hmm. And then I came from behind.
And then you suddenly got an inning with like 4
we
runs,
tied.
and that was it.
We tied in the 9th inning, so we had to go in the extra. It's not overtime; it's called extra innings. See, this is why it's so embarrassing to lose at sports games when she doesn't. But I did not lose. I won in extra innings in the 10th inning. At the bottom of the 10th, I won.
By 1 point.
Yeah,
I was very upset.
Yeah, but there's also there's also special cards you can get. Every inning, you're going to draw another card that's going to give you this extra little thing you can do on your turn. Like, I don't remember. They are rally cards.
Rally cards.
And like you hit a ball, it's a ground out. You can throw out this error card, which might be able to get you more players on base. That they had an error, so your runner's actually safe, not out. Or
I did not make full use of my card.
Yeah, you could put in a pinch hitter and you roll the dice, right? What was it? The pinch hitter was yes, you rolled the dice.
Yeah.
And you looked on your card and it's like, okay, I rolled a 3. It tells me my pinch, he just hit a triple. So if there's anybody on base, there's 3, however many people are on base, there's those many runs in. And it was a lot of fun.
For a sports
really liked
game, it was actually a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy it. We are going to keep this guy.
This goes in the travel collection.
He's in the travel collection, yes. But I thought he was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So full count baseball will stay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to go from a game that we really, really enjoyed to a game that it's hard even saying it's a game.
I'm sure for more players, there would be a game there.
Goodness, that's 2 in a row.
You didn't see the football game, apparently.
Anyway, this is Fluxx. This came out on the heels of Wingspan. I think AEG was trying to cash in on the bird theme. So they said, what do you got? Cool, we'll put birds on it and send it out.
So this one, the game board is just made up of a series of tiles depending on the number of players. You flip them over based on the number of players.
This is
The components are great. I love these.
This is place your birds on cards to get certain things when they're filled up.
Yeah.
You get certain things, basically certain resources to put in front of you that when you go to other cards, you can turn those resources into something different.
Yep.
And those can turn into something different. And those turn into points, which has been done to death.
You're putting 2 birds on to get 3 worms. And then you're going over here and you're putting birds on to get nests. And then you go over, nope, not there. Hold on. Oh, over here. Oh, and there's another place you can go to get eggs. Here, you can use birds and worms and eggs. Oh, look, nests equal birds and nests equal eggs. And now worms and eggs equal more birds. You have more.
Yeah, because you don't start out with all your birds. It was just
the best part about this entire game is the wooden components,
which are the worms. I'm scared are going to break because they're so thin.
They are very thin.
Some people may like games like this. It's a very simple game. The box is kind of what made us pull it off. I mean, the box is like, oh, this could be really cool.
We got it at Ollie's for like $5, $6, something like that. So we decided it was worth a shot, but it's going on the sale pile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Fluxx.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Next is a card game. This is an older one.
Grab the other. There's 2 copies of this.
And this is a newer version.
This one.
This old version we have has never even been played. So, of course, we played this one.
Yes. Okay, so this is one. I'm trying to remember how this plays.
This one is you got a.
Everybody has a hand of cards,
right?
Like 12 or 13 cards, something like that.
And you have a stockpile of a certain amount.
And you have a stockpile, and you're trying to
empty your stockpile.
Empty your stockpile, but you're trying to lay cards down out of your hand.
Kind of
or
like
out of one of your discard
kind of like
piles.
In the way of the mind.
Yeah,
but similar. They have to be in numerical. You can't skip numbers.
No, yeah. So anybody who has a 1 has to lay down the 1. That's the first card you lay down.
Mm-hmm.
And you can lay down as many cards as you can until you no longer have something you can play. Mm-hmm. And at that point, you have to take one of your cards and you have to start a discard pile. And you can have 4 discard piles going and you just keep piling on top. But you can't sift through your discard piles. You can only play what's on top. So you've got your hand and your 4 discard piles and your stockpile that you're playing out of. The goal is to get rid of the stockpile. So anybody who has a 1, you can lay them down. If you had 3 1s in your hand, hurrah, lay all 3 1s down. If you had a 2 and a 3, you could lay those down as well. As soon as your hand is out of cards, you grab another set of 5 cards off the deck and you just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
When you can no longer go, then it's the next person's turn. And you keep doing this until somebody's stockpile is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you have to lay 1 to 13, I think it is, no, 1 to 15. Mm-hmm. Each stack has 15 cards in it, and then you just take the stack and set it aside and keep going on what stacks are out there. I thought it was a pretty interesting card game, and this is an old card game. I think on BGG it says it dates back to 1903.
Probably.
So we're going to hold on to this guy because he is a newer version and he's open already. And I think I'm going to sell this old version because I don't think we need 2 copies. And quite frankly, I can't bring myself to open these. So, but.
And the art on it hasn't really changed.
No, it really hasn't. So, but so anyway, yeah, that is Flinch. Great little card game. Very easy card game. Holding on to 1, selling the other. All right.
Next, we're going to stay in the cards.
Sure.
This is 5 crowns. This is basically, it's almost kind of like, what, gin rummy?
Basically, it's rummy, but you don't lay anything down until you can literally go out with a discard. You have to have a discard to be able to go out.
Yeah, and each round, another card's going to be added to your hand.
Yes.
The amount of cards, and the wild card's going to change. So like on when the 4s come out, the 4s are now wild.
Right. So you're building, the cards run from 3 to king. And at 3, you're starting your deck with 3. You're starting your hand with 3 cards.
I mean, you have all the cards in the deck, but you're only dealt 3 cards.
Right. And you're drawing a card.
Right. So if you have a 3, it is now wild.
Yes. 3s are wild. You draw a card. So now you have 4 cards in your hand for the play, but you have to discard something. And you're doing this over and over again until you can lay down either a set of something or a run of something of 3 cards.
And a set was 3.
A set is 3 or a run of 3. And then you discard and that's the end of the round. And then the other player gets negative points for having cards still in his hand. Then you move on to the 4s and you do the same thing. Only this time you have 4 cards in your hand. You're drawing 1, so you now have 5. Discard 1, you're back down to 4. And you keep doing this till you build your hand. And it keeps going that way through
so you get to the kings.
11 rounds or something like that. So very interesting game. I liked it. There's 5 suits in it, so unlike the normal 4 suits in a normal deck. So anyway, that is 5 crowns. It is 6. We actually have 2 copies, 1 in each collection. I don't think we need 2 copies though, so we're going to go ahead and sell 1 and hold on to the other. So yeah, that is 5 crowns.
Now we have Fluxx. We have Pirate Fluxx, and we just have the original Fluxx. And we've had more copies of this, haven't we?
No, we've only ever had these 2. We do have 2 copies of this though.
Oh, okay.
We have 2 decks of regular Fluxx. Fluxx is just a little, this reminds me a lot of, we never play tested this or whatever that's called.
Kind of. This one, the rules change as you're going.
Yeah, there are cards in here that basically make the rules. So you're playing out cards and drawing cards.
Well, you have the base cards at the beginning.
Yeah.
And those are the white backed cards.
Right here.
There.
Well, this is the base rule. That's your basic rules. And then as the game goes on, you are looking for rule cards.
Ways to win.
The goal of the game is you want to play out goal cards in front of you that tell you the 2 cards you need in your hand to win. Like this goal is bedtime. So you need sleep and time.
Well, you need to have them laid out.
You have to have them laid out in front of you. Well, then you're looking for these keeper cards and hopefully trying to find sleep and time. Well, the eye doesn't work, but you could lay this out in front of you in case you come across the goal card that requires the eye. There's the eye and there's the brain. Meanwhile, you or other people are putting out new rule cards that affect the game from then on. Like this rule says, recycling. Once during your turn, you may discard 1 of your keepers from the table and draw 3 new cards. So it was interesting. It's definitely not our kind of game, but I could see the appeal to it.
Yeah, I liked the play of it. Yeah,
it was
thought
interesting.
It was kind of cool.
We have 2 copies of this one. We're going to go ahead and hold on to both of them. These all sit in the travel collection. I think I'm going to sell this one. I don't know that I need 3 versions of this.
Well, the Pirate Fluxx added just a little bit, another component.
Yeah.
There was something else. I can't remember exactly what was it. We didn't
actually play
we
this
haven't
one.
actually played that one.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
So Pirate Fluxx goes to the sell pile and then this one stays.
Yes, both. I'm going to keep both copies just because it is a popular game with teenagers. Anyway, that's Fluxx.
Next, we're going to stay with the cards, and it is Food Fight Card Game. This is by the same designer as Epic Spell Wars. The artwork looks almost identical.
Pretty much, yeah. All right, so this is a little card game about bidding on meals, more or less. So each round you have your battlefields. You play out battlefields +1, I believe it was, depending on the number of players. Or no, it's -1. Anyway, you're playing out battlefields depending on the number of players that are in the game. So you might end up with 2 lunches and a dinner, or a breakfast and a lunch and a dinner or something. But everybody's dealt 9 cards of your warriors, your fighters. And these are different kinds of food. And so like, for instance, the lock and loaded spud, he is best at dinner. He's considered a dinner food. So if you apply him toward one of the dinner battlefields, you're going to get extra bonuses with him. Meanwhile, Private Pancake here is better at breakfast. So you're drafting out your army based on what battlefields you want to go after. You can put up to 5 cards into a fight, and you are deciding on your army, shuffling them up. If there's 2 people here in the fight, then it's essentially a game of war. You draw up your card, and then the other player draws their card, and you compare the numbers up in the corner and their special abilities. And then whoever wins, they get a point. And then you keep going till somebody has 3 points. If there is only one player in that battlefield, then you draw dog cards to see if the dog can beat your score. It was okay. But that being said, it was just okay. I mean, I could see it being interesting at more players, but at the same time, it's a glorified game of war with just a hint more strategy involved based on drafting your armies. So we're going to go ahead and put this one in the sale pile just in the interest of getting that collection down some. I don't want to hold on to games that are just okay. So Food Fight, good game, but it is going to hit the sale pile.
This one is a card game with dice rolling in. With dice rolling in it. And timers.
I don't know who put this away. So, all right. So this is a cooperative real-time game. Again, we found this at Goodwill not too long ago. It's actually been in our collection since I found it, till we finally got a chance to play it. Everybody starts out the game with a couple of cards, and there are a number of cards in the center. And bombs, thank you. And you're rolling the number of dice equal to double it depends again on the number of players. In a 2-player game, you're rolling double the number of players. In a 3 or 4-player game, you're just rolling the number of players. And everybody has to choose at least one die. In a 2-player game, you have to choose 2 dice that have to fit onto one of the cards in front of you. And as soon as you're able to diffuse the card in front of you, you immediately discard it and grab a card out of the center. And you keep going like this until you either run out of time or you get rid of all the cards in the center of the table. And then you've successfully diffused the bomb and you win the game. But if the timer goes off first, then you were not so successful. But each of the cards have different combinations on it for the dice. Like this one wants 3 dice of any color that equal 11. This one here, you've got to have
one of any color.
You've got to have a stack.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's a stack of dice
with blue, black, and red.
Starting with blue, then black, then red in any number, but in that order. So each of these have different combinations on them that you're trying to solve. I thought it was a pretty interesting game. I did enjoy it. We actually did win it with just like a minute to spare.
And this comes with an app that has a cool little timer. You can use any stopwatch or anything to put the time on, but the app is actually kind of cool.
Adds sound effects, and it's kind of fun. So we are going to hold on to this one. It is going to move over into the travel collection. I think it will see much more play over there than it will in our collection. But it is a great game. So that is Fuse, and it will stay.
Now we're going to go into the more the villain right.
Yay.
This is Floor Plan. This is the original Floor Plan. They have the Winchester Museum.
Yeah, Winchester Mansion coming out. So as he said, Floor Plan is a roll and write. You start off with a number of customers, basically, that everybody is playing off of to score points. And each customer wants something just a little bit different. So you are rolling dice and deciding, and there's actually a chart somewhere. Where's the...
It's on the scorecard.
Oh, it's on your scorecard. It's on the scorecard. That says if you roll the dice. So here, for instance, is a 3 and a 5. Well, with a 3, I can choose to either do a bedroom, to build a bedroom, or I can put windows into one of the rooms already in my house. And with a 5, I can either draw a dining room, or I can choose to put deck sections outside my house. And each person may want something a little different. Like, so this one here wants a bedroom that is connected to a closet of at least 5 squares. So you've got to connect them. And then you can also build a courtyard where 4 empty rooms containing furnishings that completely enclose an outdoor area. So you can do that and get 8 points out of it. So you're trying to roll the dice and make decisions on this little bitty square piece of paper to meet all of the specifications put out by your customers and your clients. So I thought it was pretty neat. You come up with some interesting looking houses, that's for sure. And you've got landscaping, and it's a cute little game. I enjoy it. With the industry that you're in, it's fitting. Let's just put it that way. So, anyway, that is floor plan, and it is floor plan, and it will stay in the collection. Okay.
Next we have
Tac Toe.
Tac Toe. This is another one we didn't really like.
We've played this twice. I've won both times.
I only remember playing it once. So.
I have record of it. It was a few years ago. It was probably
That's
right
how
after
well
we
it was.
got
I
it.
only remember it once.
So,
and I'm trying to forget it now. So
this should be a hint as to what's happening with this one. So with this one, everybody takes their playing pieces, and it's kind of like tic-tac. It is tic-tac-toe. You're laying your pieces out. The difference here is that other people can lay on top of yours. And once that happens, then you can either lay out another one, or you can take one of the existing stacks and flip it over. So now your piece is back on top. You can only build each stack up to 4 pieces. So say if this did this, green would have no recourse because you can't make it any higher than 4. Orange and blue are going to fight over this one. So it's an interesting concept.
This is one that it should not be labeled a 2+ game. I don't think
it should be a 2-player game.
This needs more than 2 players, because when we played it, it was basically we had 3 spots and we had things in it, and then we were just battling back as to who was going to try and gain control. And
I could see it being interesting at 4 players, but at the same time, it's not good for 2.
It does say ages 6 and up.
It does
grade
say
1 from 1st grade on up. So
well, and maybe that's where we're not going to hold on to this one. It is going to hit the sale pile. It just, again, we just don't have room for okay games. That being said, I know a lot of 1st grade teachers, so
donation time.
Tac Toe.
Okay, next we have 5-finger Severance. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?
Did not do this to any of them. I promise.
5-finger Severance. This is basically you're playing a thief.
Okay, so the concept on this one is that the boss walked in and told everybody they were closing the store that night, and but they had to finish working their shifts if they wanted to get paid. Simple as that. So all of the employees are now slacking off or swiping things. It's a cute game. I have to admit, it was actually a lot of fun.
Because you're playing cards.
Yeah, this is all card play. You can send the boss after your teammates, which was kind of fun. But the board is essentially
a
little
convenience store.
So, and throughout the game, you are putting tokens out on the board. You're dealing with customers. You can choose to be friendly, or you can choose to tell them off. You can, however you want to do it.
Depending on what you do is you're going to gain heat.
Yes.
And if you go past, 29 heat,
yes,
you lose.
If you go past 29, you automatically get fired and you're out of the game. You keep your points you've gathered so far, but in that aspect, it is a player elimination. So it was a cute game. We actually really enjoyed it. That being said, we're going to hold on to this guy. He was a lot of laughs. It was good for some laughs.
This is one though. It's out of print.
It is.
The company, if I'm not mistaken, is gone now because the owner has passed on.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So, Fluxx. I got it all right. Anyway, 5-fingered Severance. It was a lot of laughs, even at 2 players. So I can only imagine this plays 2 to 6. Can you imagine having 6 players in this game?
I don't want to.
You don't want to?
You can't make me.
Anyhow, this one is going to stay in the travel collection.
All right. Next to the game.
Just pull it out.
It was very popular. Still is, I guess, very popular.
I don't know.
This is just not up our kind of game.
I really wanted to like
Yeah,
these.
so did I.
We demoed. I want to say it was the
Gen Con.
Batman one at Gen Con. I don't remember which one it was now.
Mm-mm.
We demoed one at Gen Con with a total stranger, and it was okay then. And we picked up this one thinking, well, the Harry Potter one is, it was
It's Harry Potter.
It was fine.
Harry Potter
it was
was
Harry
huge
Potter.
at the time.
And we've played it twice.
Mm-hmm. Both times.
Neither of us like it at all.
Nope.
Harry
Potter did not save it this time.
No.
Because we played it the first time we played this one, it was like going, no. And it sat on our shelf and sat on our shelf and then went over to the other shelf.
Because we had to make room for something. So that it went over to the other room.
So we pulled it out just the other day.
I want to like this whole series. It is a neat concept, and I love these silly little pops. I don't collect the pops. I have a couple that were gifted to me from Battlestar Galactica that I love, but these are adorable. But the gameplay is
it's confrontation.
It is direct confrontation.
And we're not huge fans of confrontation, although there are a couple confrontation games that we don't mind. But
yeah, this is not one of them, I'm afraid. So we thought about leaving it in the other room, but honestly, we both just disliked it that much that I don't want to have to try to teach it.
And this actually went to the last contest we took that collection to, nobody even looked at it.
No, they didn't. You're right. This guy's gonna hit the sale pile only because, again, just to make room in the other collection. Anyway, that is Funkoverse, and it is hitting the sale pile.
Next, we have probably the biggest 2-player box there is. This is Fields of Arle. We also have, what is it? The Traders and Tea.
Traders and Tea, or Tea and Traders, or something like that. Yeah.
The expansion actually makes it a 3-player game.
Which we've never which we've never played at 3 players.
Yep.
But
and looking back at the scores, all the plays we've had have all been really
yesterday
close.
It was a 1.5.
Yeah.
Literally a 1.5.
Yes,
difference.
you can get a half a point in here because one of the teas gives you half points.
Oh, a lot of the resources.
Also,
the wood
gives you half points.
A lot of the things give you half points. So, but anyhow, this is basically, it's your standard Uwe game. Feed people, gain resources, do things with those resources, get animals, score points on animals. It is your basic Uwe game. I'm not going to dig it out other than,
you're not going to get to the boards.
I'm not going to get to the boards. No. But lots of wood pieces. So I like that. I've got all the tiles nicely stored, but it's a large game. Anyway, again, it's a worker placement. Choose your actions.
It kind of has the board like Feast for Odin. It kind of has that where everybody
has that whole selection. This one's a little different. It plays you play part of the game in the spring season and part of the game in the fall season. And then after the spring season, let me rephrase that because you start in fall. After the fall season, you have to prep for winter. So you have to pay peat in order to keep your house warm, plus food. During the winter season or after the winter season, your animals will breed if you have animals that are able to breed, that are paired up to breed. There's 2 different sides to the board that each have their own unique set of actions on them. And meanwhile, you are trying to fill out your own personal board with different crops and woods and trying to push the dikes back so that you can gain more access to dry land. Very interesting game. Like I said, it's your basic Uwe game. Similar mechanics to Caverna and Agricola and Feast for Odin and all of the other big ones. So, but that is Fields of Arle, and it will stay in our collection.
Next, we have a very educational game. This is from Academy Games, Freedom, the Underground Railroad. It's a co-op.
It's cooperative. It is all about operating the Underground Railroad toward the end of the Civil War and trying to get people to
Canada,
trying to get escaped slaves to Canada. It is a tough game.
Well, you're actually escaping the slaves, I guess, because you're actually moving them.
You're moving them
You're
out,
helping them
yes.
move from the plantations
Through
safely
the south
as
into
well
the
as you
north
can,
and
too.
then up. And as the further north you get, you have slave hunters that are looking for them. So every time you move into certain cities, the slave hunters are moving toward them. You're gaining money from some of the northern cities that are supporting your cause so that you're able to get more support and more movement points. It's a really interesting game.
It's actually kind of thematic because
It is.
Because at the end of the round, there's more slaves coming in
on the boats. Yeah.
Well, I don't, is it a boat or is it the exchange or whatever that? Anyway,
I don't know.
And you've got to be able to put them in the plantations, and if you haven't moved enough slaves out to go to put these in the plantations, these are basically slaves you've lost.
Yeah.
And you can only lose a certain amount of slaves
depending
on the slave market. Yeah, you can only lose a certain amount of slaves depending on the tile you have up as to how many you do.
We had the easy game.
Yeah, because we had to get 10 of them to freedom up into Canada.
We did that. I think we ended up with 12.
But there are coins over on another board where you have to buy them, and you got to be able to buy all the. What was this called? Was this called freedom coins? What was this called?
Support coins.
Support
tokens.
So you got to buy those, and then in your turns, you can also buy cards. It's going to help you with other actions, and you're moving your cards. You're buying tokens that allow you have to have these tokens to be able to move the slaves along the railroad.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. I mean, it's a touchy subject nowadays, but
well, it's a touchy subject anytime, but
I think they did it kind of tasteful because they kind of held true to what actually happened during those days.
Yeah, I feel they did a really good job with it. It is a hard game.
Very hard game to beat because we beat it.
No,
I don't think we beat this. This I think the other night when we played this, I think I deemed it as the second coming of Ghost Stories. Because we've hardly ever won Ghost Stories, so this is going to be a challenge for us to try and get this.
Yes. Well, and the trick with this one is though, there's not a deck of cards. Not your timer is. You've got 8 slave market cards, and that's it. After 8 rounds, game's over. If you haven't met all of the win conditions by then, you
can meet all the win conditions and the round not be over. You have to finish that round
without losing any slaves, without losing your requisite number of slaves. Yeah. So it's rough, but it is a great game. It's a great co-op, and we are going to hold on to it. My gosh, we're going to win this one eventually. But that is Freedom, the Underground Railroad.
Okay, so the last game is, as you probably see me reaching around it, because it takes up a lot of room. And we've talked about this game before in my bad choices at Dice Tower Retreat. This is a heavy game. This is Foundations of Rome.
All right. So we've talked about this one again, as he said before, because he neglected to pick it up for free at the Dice Tower Retreat.
I picked up Space Station Phoenix because it was a game I wanted, and
that we could buy anywhere.
They caught me off guard by letting me go
third, but yeah,
second.
I thought you were third.
I was second.
Regardless,
and I walked right past it. Anyway, the game.
Who does this one? Arcane
and
Wonders.
I know
anyway, Arcane Wonders was set up at Dice Tower West.
Yes, they were.
And we're selling these. So we
this is the Emperor collection.
We grabbed one, yes.
This has the 5th player.
Has the 5th player board in it. It has all the extra modules in it.
There's only one more level above this.
Yeah, and we don't need that level.
No, we don't have any room for it.
So if you are unfamiliar with Foundations of Rome, are you want me to open it?
You're not going to open it.
I just want to show the board.
We have pictures you can show.
I don't care. It's not as good. So this is a monster of a box.
This is the Kickstarter version. As you can see all the way around the board. I don't know if it's going to come up. This looks like.
Yeah,
those are all names of the people who backed it.
All right. So This one is, if you're familiar with Acquire,
Mhm.
it is the same mechanisms as Acquire in terms of using cards or chits to claim spots on the board,
But this one you're
in the
actually
grid.
buying the cards.
This one, you're actually buying the cards and putting your pieces down on those cards. So this is what sells the game. This is why the game is as expensive as it is,
And those are
and
so
why
hard to get
it
off.
will probably never go mass market because of these pieces. These are your playing pieces. I would love to say someday I'm going to paint these, but we all know that's not true. So as you buy cards, you are claiming the spot on the board with your markers.
With your fountains.
And then after you have so many markers out there, as soon as you can get enough lined up the way you want to, you only have 8 markers, so you can't keep buying indefinitely. But as soon as you have enough lined up the way you want them, then you can pull them off and you can build one of your buildings. And the buildings all do different things, and it is a good game. I will reserve judgment as of yet to see if it is worth the price that we paid for it, but it is a great game. It goes this way.
Yeah. This is the game I've said in the past. It was like, I don't need this game. It's way overproduced.
But man,
but now that we've played it numerous times, though, I mean,
yeah,
it is a really fun game. Is it overproduced?
Yes.
Is it very costly? It can be.
Yeah, it is.
Do you need it? Not really. Did I need it? Yes, I needed to redeem myself. I had many sleepless nights that I was like, oh, damn it. Why did I do that? Why didn't I grab it when it was free? So I had the chance to get this for actually less than what they're selling it online for.
Oh, yeah.
A lot less. And I was like going, this is my last chance. This is their way of saying, Greg, you need this game. I looked at Katie. Katie looked at me, already knowing the answer of what I was going to do.
So I told him he was lucky we drove.
Yes. Yeah. Because if we would have flown, this would probably not have come out.
No. We would have had to ship it home and it would have added to the cost. So
yeah, but it's a fun game. And like I said, overproduced, yes. Do you need it? Not really. But did I? Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like it? I don't know. Do you like Acquire?
Yeah, if you like Acquire, there's a good possibility you will like this one. And some of the base game is good. The first time we played it at the retreat, we played just base game, and it was good. Second time we played it, we played with the trading and stealing mechanism, the trading and monuments, and that definitely made it better. Not so much the stealing, because I mean, you can steal pieces from other players if you need them. You have to compensate them with 4 victory points, though, and you're losing points in the process. If you need that piece to get the building you need out, then you can do it. There's also the trading mechanism where you can just simply trade stuff back and forth. When we played this last weekend,
we played this with Justin and Jackie.
We forgot the tiles for the stealing mechanism, the stealing mechanic, but we did decide to go ahead and play with the trading mechanic. And it does definitely, I think, improve the game. It allows you there's a little more strategy involved. There's also a little more hate drafting because now, oh, hey, if I take that card, I can use it as a trade to get the one I really want that so-and-so has. So I think it exponentially makes the game better. Yeah. So anyway, that is Foundations of Rome. It is, needless to say, staying in the collection.
Oh, yeah. Nope, I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell it for about $50.
Whatever. Anyhow, that is it for the F's. Yeah. So now we actually have to, well, we're gonna move into the G's.
But we have a special episode coming up. Going back because of Dice Tower West, we bought a bunch of games that need that the letters we've already played. And rather than tack them onto the end of this video, we decided we're just going to do a totally separate episode. So that should tell you something. Okay. So, all right. In the meantime, until then, we'll see you at the next one.